Hey guys, a common question that comes up as school employees get closer to retirement is it too late to start a 403b plan? As people get closer to retirement, they often realize that they either don't have quite enough saved for their retirement, or they have more income that they don't really know what to do with, and they want to put it somewhere so it's doing something for them. And they often hear of this thing called the 403b. Many times they don't have one set up yet, so they ask themselves, is it too late to even set one up? Should I even bother going through the hassle? And my answer to them most times is it's never too late to start a 403b plan. These plans have open enrollment year round. So it doesn't matter what time of year or how long you've worked for your employer, you're always eligible to open one of these accounts up. And doing so, it allows you to put up to $27,000 per year away if you're over age 50. So this is a really great benefit that you have available to you that you can set up at any time you want to. Even if you have, let's say, 6 months of work left, it still can make sense to set this thing up and put money into it, because once you've retired, that's pretty much it for retirement savings. You don't have the option to really save any more money into retirement accounts in a tax-efficient manner because you need to have earned income. You need earned income to contribute to things in your, like your 403b, your DCP, Plan 3, even Roth IRAs need to have earned income. So once you stop working, you don't have the option to save anymore into tax-favored accounts. So setting this thing up before you leave can be a really great idea and actually offers you a couple of key benefits. So some of the main benefits of a 403 plan is it's tax-favored. So depending on how you set this account up, the money can either go in pre-tax or on a Roth basis. You put money in pre-tax, you're therefore lowering your taxable income, and you're going to have to pay less taxes this year. Keep in mind though that at some point in the future, when you do decide to take money out, you do have to pay taxes at whatever applicable tax rates are in the future. If you contribute on a Roth basis, you're paying the taxes and the money now, it grows tax deferred and it comes out tax free. You can set it up either way you want, depending on if your employer allows it. So that's the first thing you want to check. Is does my district allow for Roth? There's really no bad time to set up a 403b. Unless you have 2 or 3 months left for retirement, then it may be too much of a hassle to set the account up and then have to deal with all the paperwork to get the money back out in just a couple of months. The paperwork in 403b plans are kind of be a nightmare, and you have to jump through all the hoops. You got to fill out your 403b provider's paperwork with the TPA that your school district uses, and it all has to coordinate with where you want to move the money to. And this process alone can take several months, depending on your carrier and how fast they want to process it. So it can be just a bit of a nightmare. It may not be worth it if you only have a couple months left, unless the tax benefits can justify it. So just earlier this year, I had a couple come to me. The wife was a teacher, husband was self-employed, and she was planning on retiring in 6 months. So in that case, I said, hey, if you only got 6 months left to utilize this tax shelter and your incomes are high, you might as well put the max you can into it. So that's what they did, is they set up both a 403b and a DCP in that case and put as much money as they could into it. Pretty much her entire paycheck went to these accounts to help reduce the tax burden that they have to pay for this year. In cases like that where you're high income, the tax benefits can be huge. Another case is if you're planning on leaving teaching and starting your own business and you need funds to help get that business off the ground, and you don't want to go through the bank or get a business loan, some people have used their Plan 3 or other retirement money to help jumpstart their business accounts. Most tax efficient way to do this is using the 403b loan feature. So 403bs have loans that you can take money out yourself, and the money has to be paid back over 5 years. But you can avoid the taxes in doing so. And for most providers, any interest that they charge you actually goes back to your account. So you're paying yourself back with interest over 5 years. So this can be a great way to help get your business off the ground. So setting the 403b up, even if you have no intention of putting money into it right away, has to be done before you leave employment. So in several cases, I've had people that wanted to go on to become life coaches, start up a driving school, become a private counselor. So they just opened up a 403b account and left it blank. They didn't put any money into it, but the account was open. It has to be open before you leave service. As soon as they separate service, they moved a portion of their Plan 3 funds into it, and they immediately took the loan out to get the business off the ground, and they just pay it back over time. So that's just kind of a tax efficient way to get a business going if you don't want to go through the hassle of getting a loan. Now, it's very important that before you go ahead and just set one up for the sake of doing it, you want to be careful of where you set it up at. School districts can have up to 30 different providers with 30 or 40 different types of 403b products in there. Every 403b is different. They all have different fee structures, features, cost structures, and how the fees are taken. So you want to be very clear on what the rules are before you open one up. 90% of the providers are TSAs or tax sheltered annuities. So these annuity products have what they call surrender charters on them. So I set it up, then I have a surrender period that says I can't take this money out within so many years, otherwise I get hit with a penalty. So if you're setting one up kind of late in your career and you only have 2 or 3 years left, most of these surrender contracts go 5, 6, even up to 10 years in some cases. So in that case, it's not going to make sense to set up your money with them if you don't have the intention of leaving the money in there to meet that surrender period. Another thing to be careful of is there are 403b providers that are not annuities, so they're mutual fund based ones, and the claim to fame there is that It's liquid, right? There's no surrender charges, but some of them have what they call a front-loaded fee on them on their mutual fund products. So essentially, if I put $100 into one, I could be paying her from 2 to 5% in an upfront fee to that company. So I put $100 in and maybe only $98 or $95 goes into it. So it's an upfront cost that it does take time to break even to make that math work out. And if you only have a few years left, chances are you're not going to break even at any point before you decide to move the funds out of the 403b account. Now, you can leave your money in the 403b as long as you want to, but in many cases, it makes sense to move money out of the 403b just so for more investment options, simpler access to the funds are being the main reasons. So for the most part, it's never really too late to set up a 403b account. It's just important that you know what kind of 403b account you're getting yourself into and all the rules around it. If you need help navigating this crazy world, this is something we help school district employees with all the time. The link to get on our calendar is in the description below. I'll see you guys next week, and remember that your future depends on what you do today.